Here's something you already know, but have never been able to name. The last time someone sent you a message, not just any message, but one that made your chest tighten. You knew exactly what it meant before your brain could translate the words. I've been really busy. Let's catch up soon. I need some space to think. The language of distance. You've heard it before, in different sentences, different people, but the same frequency. And here's the thing, you've probably sent the same kind of message yourself, to someone else. In a moment where closeness felt suffocating and space felt like oxygen. These aren't random. These are patterns, deeply wired patterns called attachment styles. Last week we talked about why you keep choosing the wrong people. Today, we're going to look at the 3 ways people attach. Not in theory, in the actual words, the texts you didn't send, the ones you did, the silence that said everything. Let's start with the most painful one. Anxious attachment sounds exactly like what it is. It's the part of you that checks your phone every 3 minutes, that rewrites a text 7 times before sending it. That feels a small collapse in your chest when someone doesn't reply within the hour. And it's not because you're needy, it's because your nervous system learned very early that love is unpredictable, that people leave without warning, that closeness requires constant vigilance. So you became hyper-aware, hyper-responsive. You learned to read silence as rejection, distance as abandonment, a delayed reply as proof that you said something wrong. Here's what anxious attachment looks like in real conversations. You send, "Hey, hope you're having a good day." They reply 3 hours later, "Thanks, you too." You think, that's it? Did I do something wrong? Or this one. You say, "I miss you." They say, "I've just been really busy." You hear, "You're too much." The anxiously attached person doesn't ask for reassurance because they're insecure. They ask because their early relationships taught them that love is conditional, that it can disappear if you're not careful, that you have to earn it over and over by being attentive, accommodating, and emotionally available at all times. And the cruelest part? Anxious attachment is often drawn to avoidant attachment. Because avoidant people, the ones who need space, who pull away when things get close, feel like a challenge, like proof that if you can just love them enough, you'll finally be worthy of staying. But let's talk about the avoidant side now. Because they're not the villain in this story, they're just running a different program. Avoidant attachment doesn't look cold from the inside. From the inside, it feels like self-preservation, like boundaries, like protecting yourself from being swallowed whole. The avoidantly attached person learned early that emotional needs are a burden, that asking for closeness leads to rejection or disappointment, that the safest way to survive is to not need anyone at all. So they learned to be independent, self-sufficient, to keep one foot out the door just in case. And when someone gets too close, when the relationship starts to feel real, vulnerable, dependent, the avoidant person doesn't feel warmth. They feel trapped. Here's what avoidant attachment sounds like. Someone says, "I love you." The avoidant person thinks, "That's a lot of pressure." Someone says, "Can we talk about us?" The avoidant person feels their chest tighten. They say, "I don't think there's anything to talk about." And here's the thing people misunderstand about avoidant attachment. It's not that avoidant people don't care. They do, deeply, sometimes painfully. But caring feels dangerous, because caring means depending, and depending means the possibility of being let down, abandoned, left behind. So the avoidant person creates distance, not out of cruelty, but out of survival. They pull away before you can leave. They keep things surface level before it gets too deep. They protect themselves by never fully arriving. And then there's secure attachment, which sounds boring, and in some ways, it is. Securely attached people don't create drama. They don't chase. They don't pull away when things get real. They don't need constant reassurance, and they don't panic at the idea of closeness. They're comfortable with intimacy and comfortable with independence. They can be close without losing themselves. They can be alone without feeling abandoned. Here's what secure attachment looks like in conversations. Someone says, "I need some space tonight." The secure person says, "Okay, let me know if you need anything." Someone says, "I'm feeling disconnected from you lately." The secure person says, "I've noticed that too. Let's talk about it." No panic, no defensiveness, just presence. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are not securely attached. Research suggests only about 50 to 60% of the population has secure attachment, and even that number is generous. The rest of us, we're anxious, avoidant, or some combination of both, what's called disorganized attachment. But here's the hopeful part. Attachment style is not a life sentence. You can develop what psychologists call earned security. It's not the same as being securely attached from childhood, but it's close. Earned security means you recognize your patterns. You catch yourself spiraling into anxiety or shutting down into avoidance. And instead of reacting from that place, you pause. So here's what I want you to take from this. Your attachment style is not your fault. It's not a character flaw. It's not something you chose. It's an adaptation, a survival strategy your nervous system developed when you were too young to have any other options. The anxious person learned to cling because love was unreliable. The avoidant person learned to retreat because closeness felt unsafe. Neither strategy is wrong. They both made sense once. But here's the question you have to ask yourself now. As an adult, with agency, with choice, is this pattern still serving me? Or is it keeping me in relationships that feel exactly like the wound I'm trying to heal? Because that's the loop. We don't choose people in spite of our attachment wounds. We choose them because of our attachment wounds. And the only way out, the only real way out, is to notice the pattern. To sit with the discomfort of doing something different. To choose the person who feels safe, even if safe feels boring. To let yourself be loved consistently, even if consistency feels unfamiliar. It's slow work, unglamorous work, but it's the work that matters. Next time, we're talking about high-functioning people. The ones who look successful from the outside, but are quietly falling apart on the inside. The perfectionist who can't rest. The overachiever who feels like a fraud. The person everyone thinks has it together, but who spends every night wondering when the mask will slip. If that sounds familiar, I'll see you then.